So, y'all wanna feel like the Batman? Batman has always been one of the most interesting superheroes in my life. Growing up, I'd always watch the movies, cartoons, and even struggled playing through that shitty Batman Begins tie-in game with my cousins. I thought he was awesome, a superhero that didn't have powers and mainly used his strength and wit to overcome obstacles and outsmart his enemies. His motivations and origins were always pretty interesting to me, loving the Batman Begins movie and even some of the very few comics I got a glimpse of since I wasn't really much of a comics kid or could afford them. However, like I said, there weren't many great Batman games as I was growing up, and the closest I could think of was the Lego Batman game I played on my PSP, and even then, it was alright, and I could barely get past a couple of the levels. Until we finally got the chance to go to Arkham. The Arkham series was what really propelled that love for Batman when I was a kid, pretty much kickstarting what was to me the back-to-back-to-back bangers of Batman media and stories. And now, as I've grown up and lost interest entirely for the hero, I will never forget the joy and intrigue the first two Arkham games gave me. So rightfully so, with the announcement of Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad game, my excitement and craving for more superhero games has been at an all-time high. So, fuck it, we're doing a retrospective series on the Arkham games, playing all of the main console game releases of each game, all of their respective DLCs, because I never got to play most of them, and doing all the side missions and Riddler trophies / collectibles in order to get the complete experience for all of the games. I will dabble in some of the challenge maps, especially the DLC ones, and talk about them a bit, but not too much, since they were more optional, repetitive challenges that are fun, but don't change the games in any way or have much to add to the experience other than a few playable characters. For each game, I'll give you a brief history I've had with each game, then I'll be going through the story, discussing gameplay and design along the way, then discussing the Riddler trophies and the side missions, then checking out the DLC and wrapping up with some last thoughts about how each game feels to play now and if they've aged well since their initial releases. Enough talking, let's get into it and feel like the Batman. Just kidding, that shit's overdone. I remember this game being announced and me perceiving this as a dark and gritty take on the hero that I wasn't really accustomed to at the time. As a kid in the 5th grade, yes, I know, I'm young, I saw the trailers and the gameplay and was like, that looks kinda scary, so I think I'll pass. Until one day, at GameStop, I was looking around and started playing at the PS3 demo station, and that's where they had the Arkham Asylum demo right there. So I said, let me see what's up. Because I remember a friend of mine always telling me in the playground how awesome Arkham Asylum is, how fun it is, and all this stuff. So I played it for about 5 minutes and was like, whoa, this is fire. And spent the following day asking him all about the game. Sadly, months after, I had to move away to another city, and he was pretty much my best friend at the time, so he decided to give me a copy of his game. Because he knew how interested I was in the game, and he just decided to give it to me as a going away gift. Man, what a friend. Once I settled in and started playing through it, I remember calling him through my home phone and spending hours just asking him questions and him asking me about what I thought of each fight, each section, and how hot Harley Quinn was. It was honestly a pretty awesome experience and maintained that friendship I had with him. But that's a story for another day. Since then, I haven't really touched the game and only played it once all those years ago. I did all the Riddler stuff and pretty much 100% of the game, and that's that. So I'm pretty excited to start all over again after all of these years. The story starts off with Batman taking Joker to Arkham after something happens at the Gotham City Hall. It'll specify too much, only hearing as much as Joker surrendered pretty easily while also hearing murmurs of a fire at Blackgate, a separate prison in Gotham. Off the bat, you get a certain vibe, a type of eeriness, and well, you pretty much know what might happen. The way things are slowly starting to unfold, and that slow walk you take escorting Joker establishes the mood and vibe Rocksteady are going for. Bada boom bada bing, Joker escapes, and surprise, this was his plan all along. To get to the asylum alongside his gang from Blackgate and take over Arkham. Why? Well, relax, we'll get there. Batman busts into the room and Joker escapes, and it's here where we get our first introduction to the famous free flow combat, where X/square hits the bad guy and Y/triangle counters the bad guy. It's fun, jumping around from room to room like a maniac, beating these dudes up with the occasional counter or evade, We get introduced to more varied enemy types later on that need to be stunned before hit or only could be hit from behind, standard stuff like that, but that's about it. It's fun, but honestly lacked impact. You'll do this cool super slow motion final hit move, but it doesn't feel impactful. If you're making it seem like I'm about to punch this mentally ill person with the force of 10 trucks, I want to feel like it. It's fun, but it doesn't feel great or rewarding due to the lack of impact. I want more unch in my punch, you know? Back to the story, Batman moves on into the asylum and encounters Victor Zsasz, a crazy dude that cuts people. And here we get a slight tutorial on stealth. Arkham Asylum's tutorials are kind of for the most part. They do a great job showing players new mechanics, however it's more of a trickle of information. For every new thing they introduce you, they give you a 5 to 10 minute section for you to try it out. And it just kind of slows down the game at some points. But it was never game breaking or immersion shattering. It's just underwhelming thing in such a grand opening of a game. You kick him, talk to the people, and move on, and let me just say, why does Batman look so damn stiff? Like throughout the whole game, you'll find me laughing from how serious and stiff he looks the whole game for no reason. He talks like this dumb caveman at times, and when he tries to add a hint of snarkiness or sarcasm to his dialogue, it just sounds so stupid. Yeah, animations aren't too great either. Aside from cutscenes, which look pretty great, Batman's movements outside of that close-up third-person camera look awkward. And the way characters talk in conversations look like everyone's being forced at gunpoint on getting these lines out. I mean, compared to most of the games that came out that same year, it's not too terrible. Nowadays, it just makes for a good chuckle sometimes. We move through more of Arkham, saving dudes and satisfying people's kinks, and oh no, Harley's got the Warden and needs to be saved over at this room, and psych, it's just a Joker with some big nasty roided up thug, and we just fight him. And he gets a heart attack after a few hits. Cool. One more side note I want to talk about, and definitely not the last, are the character portrayals. Like mentioned before, Batman doesn't seem like the badass, super smart detective hero I loved. He's this too serious for no good reason caveman that always thinks he can handle everything, and it just comes off as pretentious. Gordon is a super generic cop cheerleader, and Harley is just uncharacteristically annoying. And yeah, that's kind of her thing, but in this game, it's just plain straight up why annoying. So yeah. The only character that is portrayed perfectly, I must say, is Joker, honestly. This is exactly what I think of when someone talks about the Joker, and he's just such a memorable and fun villain. Other characters are done well, I must say, like Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, and Oracle. I am by no means an expert on these characters, and I don't watch or read or even play everything that these characters are portrayed in, but for the most part, some of the villains and the characters are done great. Batman is too serious, and Joker is Joker and does what Joker does best. Joker escapes again because of Batman's no kill, kill is bad rule. We find out that one of the guards are bad, and we use Batman's detective laser eyes to track down an alcohol scent from his breath and figure out where he's located. And let me just say, this is cool. All the small detective stuff Batman does, while minor, I kinda do wish there was more of. What we did get was cool. Using that stuff to get the trail of the stuff is cool and neat, and made me feel like I'm smart, even though I'm just following dots in the hallway. The trail leads us to a room with a bunch of guys with guns, and we're introduced to the Predator gameplay. And yeah, it's fine. There weren't many sections in this game that really made me feel like a badass the way the combat eventually does. There are some neat rooms where they do become puzzles, however, like the combat, it doesn't feel as rewarding as it should. You do some cool stuff here and there, like leading thugs to the explosive spray trap, or inverted takedowns, or yeah, that's about it. It's fine, that's all I could say. This and the game's free flow combats build a good foundation for what the series eventually becomes, but as of now, and for the majority of the game, it just feels like a beta build for what eventually becomes the greater main game. After the sneaky, oh no, the bad guy guard is dead, and we soon after are introduced to the most annoying damn thing in the game, Riddler. And I'm not just talking about the challenges or the trophies, just him, his face, and his voice, and every word that comes out of it. Always mocking you, and how he's smart, and whatever, but when you do find one of his trophies, and it's like, wow, even a toddler could have found that one, then why the fuck are you challenging me with this shit? Sorry, it's just a little infuriating, sorry, let's get back to it. I do like how the more and more riddles and trophies you solve and find, the more the Riddler starts to get worried and starts doubting himself. I like that very much. I'll talk more about the Riddler stuff later on. Right now it's best to focus on the story. I'm already sidetracking enough as it is, and we're barely through the first level, so Yeah. We finally leave the intensive treatment area of Arkham and finally go outside to get some fresh air, and man, like the introduction, this introduction to the entirety of Arkham Island is great. The dark, depressing, and simply thick and unique environments and atmosphere make for such an awesome and immersive world. Graphically, this game has aged very well. I did play the remastered version of the game, but let's be honest, it might as well just been a port with some DLC. Walking around this dark and eerie island with the rain and the incredible soundtrack sets up for a pretty memorable atmosphere and location that is constantly changing. Throughout the game, there'll be story moments that change few things about the island, from smaller things like enemies taking over parts of the island, or having set fire to places or spray paint on the walls, to entire changes in the island that we'll touch on later on. It's not a huge open world, it's more of like an open area hub type thing that connects all of the levels to this one hub. And I appreciate that after years of this generation full of huge open world games for no good reason. I've learned to appreciate the smaller open worlds more, making these locations much more memorable and more likely for me to naturally know where I'm going and not just follow some marker on my map to the 50th copy and pasted camp of enemies. Lesson of the day, small open worlds are good. We check on the Batmobile because it was crying for some reason, beat some dudes up, and we figure out that Harley might have taken Gordon to the medical center. And would you look at that? Yep, he got taken. We take a different route through the roof and get to another sneak section. We have some doctors and learn about some of the others that need saving. Dr. Young, Aaron Cash, and some other nerds are saved, and apparently this Dr. Young is very important. But whatever. Going back to the main room, the elevator to the morgue is now open. Sneak some more and head downstairs, and uh-oh, people are going crazy, and uh-oh, Gordon is dead, and my dead parents are here, and okay, silly me, it's just Scarecrow. Yeah, I gotta say, these Scarecrow sections look really cool and scary, and even Scarecrow's design is kind of cool. Yeah, this portrayal of Scarecrow is kind of air for me. Like, he does look cool and stuff, and his glove is cool, but when he starts talking, he just sounds like a normal dude. Like, what? This doesn't line up. Yeah, the sections look cool, but they play like ass, and this and another section later on kind of show the slight jank to the game. It's not bad janky, but it's janky enough to the point where it's annoying, because sometimes Batman doesn't do what you tell him to, and like these sections where it's precise stealth, just suck, but they do look cool. After a short little acid trip, we eventually find Harley and Gordon again, and we do some more sneaks to rescue Gordon. Cool, oh wait, not cool, cause surprise, Bane is here. And turns out that Dr. Young has been milking our boy like there's no tomorrow to develop some type of chemical formula thing called Titan. Bane's mad, of course, and boss fight ensues, which is fine, not too hard, but yeah, not much to say here. So we zip out, Bane follows, and the Batmobile gives him a nice big hug. We get going to the dock so he can leave Arkham Island. Batman leaves to go to the Batcave on Arkham Island, which, yeah, makes sense. When I was a kid, I thought this made no sense at all. Little did my dumbass know. This is the place where most villains are going to be at, so there's a pretty high chance of them escaping or doing some dumb shit. He goes here to try to figure out why Young was experimenting with this Venom shit, and oh no, she's been working with Joker this whole time. Not kind of working with her, but kind of forced to work with him. Yeah. We figure this out, and we head to the Arkham Mansion to grab some of her notes and figure out what this Titan stuff can do. Throughout the game, you'll find interview tapes. Doctors and guards will have some conversations with the villains of the game, and I've always liked these. They give us more insights on how Joker got to work with Young, why the Riddler hates us so much, and how fucking crazy Croc is. It's cool. We get to Arkham Mansion, fight some dudes, and get our sneakers in, and it's here where we find guards are wearing these suicide collar things. And honestly, I don't know what the fuck they do. I thought that if they spot me or something, they blew up, but no. It's just, if someone starts panicking or find a body, they'll get alerted that, hey, Batman's here. The name of these things are super misleading, and they just kind of alert guards once you knock out the first person in the room, but that's it. Not many changes, but yeah, I probably played the game wrong, and I probably just didn't pay attention enough, but for the most part, these bottom collars didn't really add much. We go through the mansion, saving Cash once again, and other guards, and eventually we get to the doctor's office, and she already took the notes. We track her fingerprints, and man, did she put her fucking hands on everything. We find where she is, and she was apparently hiding the notes from Joker. We fight some dudes, and we save some more guys, and find the notes and burn them. And oh no, what's that? Zsasz got Young's. Oh no. On our way back from trying to go save Young from Zas, Scarecrow messes with us again. Like I said before, visually and narratively, this is cool. Ooh, dead parents, yeah, we get it, but it plays like shit. After that shitty acid trip, we find Zas holding Young hostage, and oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. Zas is honestly the most pathetic villain in the game, probably the whole series, sadly. I can see him being a really cool villain, but Rocksteady really did him dirty here. But it is what it is. Anywho, turns out that Joker already has the formula to make Titan and the Venom to make it. There's a lab somewhere in the gardens, and that's where we need to go, but we need the codes to access the lab. And oh shit! She's dead now. Oh, okay. And then now Batman's a little drunk, a little tipsy from the blast, and Harley talks her shit about her having the warden still. Okay, we don't really care about the warden. He's kind of a shithead anyway. We fight some dudes, figure out where Harley is heading, and turns out that she's headed to the penitentiary. We go to the penitentiary, find Sharp, and we get the codes that we need to get to the lab, allowing us to hack doors with this cool little iPad hack game, which I kind of always liked. It's a cool little gadget. Not much to say, honestly, but it's cool. As we leave, Harley releases Poison Ivy, cause fuck it, and Joker said, nah, that's not enough. Let's release all of the crazies out there. And these guys are cool. They make for cool enemies, but they only amount to a counter and a knockout. And I kind of wish they were used better, maybe in actual combat. They just surprise you out of nowhere, kind of spice things up a bit, but that's just me. We go through the penitentiary chasing after Harley into this neat little area where the floor gets electrified while you fight. However, the jankiness I mentioned earlier shows in this encounter. Since the climbing is kind of slow and sometimes doesn't register when you're trying to move, it's just an annoying kind of fight. It's not too hard, but it does get annoying when you're trying to climb over the next platform, but Batman's hunky ass just rolls over. You beat the guys, toss Harley, and we lock her in a cell. Her dumbass tells us that Joker is actually producing Titan as they speak in the garden lab. So we mosey on over there with the codes. We get there, sneak, punch, and find where Joker is producing the Titan. We fight these Titan-fueled thugs that now have the complete Titan juice in them and won't pass out like the first one we fought earlier. And it's like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? These guys are way more tougher, he's bigger, he's not going to have a heart attack this time. It's 2 of them. Oh, wait, it's just like the Bane fight, but no, there's just 2 of them now. That's it. Easy fight, and turns out that we might need Poison Ivy's help. We go and meet up with her, and we threaten her with some hedge clippers because she really fucking likes her plants. And she agrees to help us, but we gotta get some goop for her in order to make it happen. And guess where the goop is? With Killer Croc for some reason. But yeah, okay. As we head to the sewers, surprise, Joker slips some Titan into Ivy, and man does she get mad. This is one of the bigger changes to the island that I really enjoyed. All the plants covering the island and the buildings, it's just a really cool sight to see. Visually, this is neat, and while minor, it does add a nice change to the game, visually. But in order to get back into the sewers, we need to take a trip back to the intensive treatments, and oh yeah, fuck this section. This is the worst predator encounter you do in the game, because now the perches have bombs, and as soon as you touch them, they will only have a few seconds until they blow up. And yeah, it's a cool idea to spice things up a bit, but man, it does not work out in this room specifically because there's not many options for stealth, and they all kind of just hide in this little glass box here, and there's no way you can kind of stealth around them. So it's just annoying. So yeah, fuck this. After that shit encounter, we have another Scarecrow makeout session, and this one ain't that bad because you actually get to fight stuff, and it does this whole game breaking thing. It's trippy and it's cool and I like it and I appreciate it, but it kind of breaks up the pacing a bit too much. Apparently, Batman took like a shitload of toxin and it did nothing to him. Scarecrow then runs off. We eventually catch up to him and he threatens to drop his ass gas into the pipeline in order for him to poison the whole city. But oh fuck! He dead. Yeah, Croc in this game does not play around, and it's a shame we don't really get a proper fight with him in this game. Yep, that's right, we don't get a fight with him. And this section where we have to go in and collect the spores is such a slow and boring process. And I really was hoping that we could have gone into a fight with him of any kind. Another Bane fight, that would have been cool, but like something at least. What we do get is slow walking on planks playing Marco Polo in order to find these spores, and Croc occasionally jumping out of the water, but it's okay, you just have to tickle his neck a little bit and he's back in the water. Not only is it boring, but it lasts way too long, since you need to get a certain amount of spores, and man, what a disappointing section, what a boring section. It was bad. It was bad. We then leave, Croc falls into whatever, and we get back to the Batcave to develop an antidote for Titan so that Ivy can calm down a little bit and not eat the island. There's a section where Joker is spilling Titan into the water pumping station and we need to stop it. Yeah, we do that. And we have one of the more fun combat encounters in the entire game. A huge number of enemies with 2 Titan-fueled enemies. It is a fun encounter. It's here where I finally got to fully enjoy the combat because I'm constantly hopping and dodging and managing all of these enemies at the same time. And it was just here where I'm like, okay, now I feel like Batman, but whatever. But yeah, it's a good encounter. We fix the water and we fight the dudes and we head back to the gardens where Ivy is pissed. She turns into this huge plant thing and yeah, it's a boss fight. There's not much of note. You hop around dodging her goop and her thorns and tossing around batarangs that you have. She'll have a few openings that do a bit more damage, but just spam the batarangs and you'll be fine. She'll drop some guards just to spice things up a bit, but other than that, it's an alright boss fight. All the bosses in our game are kind of boring if you haven't been able to tell. And straight up don't do anything cool, unfortunately. So yeah, if you're hoping for a huge, awesome, epic fights with your favorite villains of the Batman universe, that shit ain't happening here. Sorry. We beat her, and that's it. Nothing of notes happens. That literally didn't need to happen, but yeah, okay. Joker yells at us to come to the party at the visitor center, and yeah. This is way off. Fuck. Okay. Alright, I don't understand how fucking Batman falls for this shit all the damn time. Like, it's honestly shocking. Like, damn. Anywho, we face Joker and fight some dudes. Again, I wish we had more of these challenging fights with a bunch of enemies. But yeah, we win, and turns out that he has Gordon hostage, which is like, what? Gordon left like a couple of hours ago, and you're telling me that Joker went out of his way to go back to Gotham, kidnap him, and bring him all the way back from Gotham, and shit, and just have him here as his hostage? Alright? I know it's not Joker specifically that went to do it, but whatever. Okay. Joker then threatens to shoot Gordon with the Titan Juice, and Batman takes the shot instead and fights through it. So Joker says, fuck it, I'm gonna shoot myself for some reason. Okay. Batman gets knocked out and he wakes up on the roof in this arena thing with the news choppers and shit. Like, what? This all happens very quickly and felt very rushed, but I guess we just needed to push ourselves and just rush to the big set piece moment, I guess. But yeah. Oh, and Joker looks like this now. Holy fuck. Yeah. I really like the design of Cracked Out Joker. I haven't really touched on character designs much. Honestly, for the most part, most of the characters in the game look good. Batman looks exactly what I imagine Batman looking like, and it's probably his best design in most media, honestly. This is a cool suit. It's a cool suit. It's conventional and it looks like it's durable. It's good. It's not some skin tight suit. It's not some armor. It's a perfect blend of whatever it is. Bane, Croc, and Joker's designs just look so cool and unique and over the top in such a good way, and really made it feel like this is a comic book game, not a superhero movie game. And yeah, it added more to the comic book aesthetic on top of the menus and all the stuff you get to see later on. We talk some things out. Joker uses the antidote on himself, and then we fight Joker. And what I mean by that is that you fight some goons, pull Joker down from the roof, slap him a bit, and dodge his attacks, and repeat. Honestly, an even more underwhelming fight, and further pushes the point on how kind of bad the boss fights in this game are. We beat Joker by giving him one of the most unnecessarily intense punches in Batman's career. But yeah, Joker gets taken, and we save Arkham. Credits, and oh wait, depending on what ending you got, there's not endings, but there's a randomized post-credit scene where Scarecrow, Bane, and Croc get access to the Titan and have just been swimming in the water with the Titan. And why? But okay, moving on. And yeah, that's about it. We got other shit to do. I guess we can talk about that. I really enjoyed looking for the Riddler trophies in this game. These, the interview tapes, and the Arkham symbol chronicle things are the collectibles for the game, and they're not bad. The trophies were always fun to look for and find, and I found it to be the strongest point of the game for me. Simply exploring and using my gadgets to get these cool collectibles. And you also got the riddles, which were fun too. However, I found myself getting a good handful of them naturally without even reading the riddles, since most of them are pretty out of place and obvious that they're riddles. Interview tapes and Arkham Chronicles were cool, expanding on the story and the lore of this version of Batman's world. and the different histories that villains have with the Batman here, alongside with their own stories that I found very interesting. The Arkham Chronicles were cool, but were the least interesting collectibles out of the bunch, but still provide you with an interesting story about the founder of Arkham. Honestly, these are the best part of the game. The exploration is what kept me going. Using all of the different gadgets were fun. Combat and stealth, while cool, never feels as satisfying or rewarding as these tapes or trophies do. And those forms of gameplay feel, like I said before, more like a proof of concept, honestly. Like I said before, it feels like it's meant for a beta or an alpha of an eventually bigger game. There's not much in terms of DLC. You'll get one costume only, and that's only used and restricted for the challenge rooms. Cool, I guess. It's not even a cool looking costume. It kind of looks kind of janky or whatever. And you get a few challenge rooms with Joker, and he plays kind of eh. He has some unique gadgets and abilities and moves, but nothing hugely different. He plays exactly like Batman, which is kind of weird, but yeah. It's a neat idea, but it's just eh. Oh, and the challenge rooms are fine. Just more of what the game gave you in terms of combat and stealth, but like I said, the combat and stealth didn't leave me wanting more, so I barely touched most of the maps. All in all, Arkham Asylum has aged impressively well, graphically and aesthetically. It's pretty incredible for its time. Combat and stealth had some good ideas going for it, and was great for its time. However, it's kind of dated now, and feels like both of these aspects of gameplay are just missing a little something. Sometimes leaving you with the feels of, yeah, I should be able to do this, but I can't. Exploration, however, is what makes the game worth it. The majority of my enjoyment for the game was exploring all of these cool environments, taking in the lore and details, and looking for the Riddler trophies and solving these random riddles, I guess. It's still a decent to good game, but not one I would recommend for people that want to get into the series. The story isn't anything too impressive and doesn't build on some bigger plot. All you need to know is that Titan is a thing for the next games, but that's about it. It's a pretty self-contained story for the most part. The gameplay is fine, but like I said before, you will constantly find yourself wishing for more variety and fewer restrictions. If you want to give it a try, go for it. I can only recommend it because of the atmosphere and the exploration are really well done. Other than that, it's eh, and it's not too long either. I only finished it in about 2 sittings, 3 counting me going back for all the collectibles, and like I said, good exploration and combat and stealth, questionable character choices, cool character designs for the most part, but enough of that. That's all I could say about the Arkham Asylum game, and it's time for us to return to Arkham City. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every view, every person that watches this video. Whoops, sorry, I'm kind of fumbling. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions, anything I missed, anything I did wrong, please leave a comment below and let me know. I'd be happy to fix it for you. And yeah, next up we're going to be going and tackling Arkham City. Honestly, probably the best game in the series, and I'm really excited to go it. But yeah, this series has been long in the making. I started working on the series back in around October, September, but yeah, finally getting it done. And yeah, I can't wait for more videos. If you want to support me, go ahead and feel free to check out the Patreon, get some cool benefits there, or even join the Discord and hang out and have fun with some homies. Don't forget to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/arnotg, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.